Alright, this is the start of the broadcast, so welcome to the Elk Speaks third round war broadcast. This is the end of a connection test match in which my opponent for this round, MegroN, the general of Team Earth, decided to play a Pestle. I was playing a random deck from the Quads tournament previously, which means that this is a Firefly Queen Shard of Freedom deck. Which does not really do so well against Pestle. So while the connection test will not go in my favor, I hope that the actual match will be much more so. MegroN himself, my opponent today, is, as I said, the Master of Earth and the General of Team Earth. And he was one of my teammates in Forum Brawl 3 on Team Whispers in the Dark. He was our artist in that competition, and he was an extremely good artist, so I know him at least a little bit from previous experience within the community, and he's a pretty good player too. He won his Master of Earth title reasonably convincingly in a 5-4, I believe it was, over Drake 14 in the Finals of Earth. But both players are reasonably good players, and they had a very exciting match to watch, so yeah. And as you'll see, I am playing a deck that you may have seen previously if you've been watching my broadcasts before. This deck is extremely similar to the deck I played against Cheesy111 in the first round of Team Light. I won that match 3-2. And so today, as I said, Team Air had an extremely strong second round, going 5-1, which put our vault to 380 cards. Team Earth's had a few struggles and have dropped their vault to 292 cards, but overall they're still a team that has plenty of ground to crawl back from. The defending champions, Team Ether, were also in the same vicinity as Team Earth going into this round. Team Air was in 4th place going into this round, but unfortunately we've lost 3 of our first 4 matches this round. I'll be our 5th match of the round. So things are looking a little bit less good for Team Air than they did at the end of the previous round, but we'll see how the remaining matches go, both for us and for other rounds. Team Ether has bounced back a little bit this round already, taking 4 wins. And here we go. It's a Gravity Mark deck, which means we're looking at probably Pulvey Smash. It's a 30-card deck. Two Pillars and Mark for his opening draw. And I have 2 upped pens, which will be very useful. Let me get an early Elite Queen out with any luck. Probably a turn 3 Queen. Nova and a Pulverizer, so we are seeing the infamous Pulvey Bow. Luckily, I have all of the cards to play a second turn Adrenostave. Third turn Adrenostave. Now, in theory, this matchup should go reasonably well for me, because I can basically out-heal whatever damage is likely to come from him, but it will depend on me getting good enough draws to do exactly that. He's going to try to destroy my Quanta and keep me from doing exactly that. I will be 1 life quanta short of that, but on the next turn I will be able to play a queen and adrenaline my staff. My only real concern is that there might be some CC in there that could kill my staffs, but I don't think there's any CC in a bow that can kill staffs without 2 cards, so that's good. Adrenaline and an elite queen out. And that will start my damage ticking, and you'll notice I'm healing 20 damage per turn, which is the incredible power of Adrena's staves. I have a D flag in hand too. I can blow up the Pulvey at some point if I want to. I might need to watch out for a gravity shield. That would be really annoying here. Instead, he's just going to use his Pulvey. I'll start queening out some flies, getting some fire quanta together. I should probably save my D flag in case he has a gravity shield. In which case my fireflies can still hit through it, but it would become a lot more risky. So Nova, Steel Golem, and a Forest Spirit. Forest Spirit is one of the most standard cards in War Grabos, so I shouldn't be too surprised by that. My 20 healing per turn is going to be a little bit of a problem for him. He does have 18... make that 24, 25, 30. He has 30 damage per turn right now, and that's going to increase a little bit as his spirit stacks up. But we'll see how long that ends up being a problem for. A second golem, that could potentially be a problem. I'm going to deflag the Pulvey and hope for the best. My damage is actually pretty high right now, and I need to just not let his damage get out of control. We're 33 damage, and I'm healing 20. That's a second Pulvey from him. He's dealing 33 damage per turn, but I'm healing 20. I'm only going to need one more turn to close this game out, assuming nothing terrible happens, but I just want to make sure he can't burst down, which could be a little bit of a problem. Early queens and early staffs, though, should give me at least a little bit of an edge. Plus, I don't think he can get a 2 Graboid, 2 Golem start this easily in every game of the match. But that is probably his out. His out is getting early grabs and Golems. Forest Spirit damage is really severe, but my first hit will end us for that round. And that will make the match 1-0. And we'll load back in for game 2. So we'll say that we were having a little bit of trouble with Fiddler earlier, which means that we are not using it for this match. Fiddler helps to reduce the number of desynchronization errors that occur, but MegroN and I were doing better without it than with it, so we're going to not use it this time. And I'll search back in, and we'll see where the next match goes. And there we are. We are connected for game 2. Seen 13 of the 30 cards in his deck, so I at least have a pretty good idea of what his deck is capable of. Oh, that's a terrible draw, though, especially if he has an early Pulvey. I can get my first staff out, I should be at least a little bit okay, but this is going to be rough no matter what. I really need to get a staff out, and I need to get it out fast. Preferably 2 at this point. I can probably win the game with 2 staffs out in Adrenaline. I'll at least get the staff up this turn. It'll be 2 turns before I can Adrenaline it. But I'll at least get 5 healing out of it this turn. The extra Quanta will help me a lot. I'm going to eventually need to get my queens out. That's a little ways away at this point. I need to draw a second staff first is my priority. And then I need to get a queen out. I don't really want to play my Blue Nymph, especially not until I have enough to start playing queens when I get them, so that's going to be held off on. Oh, and there is a queen, which means that next turn, staff needs to be my first priority, but I should get to 7 next turn regardless of what cards he has. He's got his 2 Graboids out again. Those at some point, once he gets Novas, will be able to evolve. There comes out his first Pulvey, which is why I can't just play staff. I'm not seeing the CC in this deck either, so I'd likely burn an Adrenaline on a queen and not be in a bad situation. I would actually strongly consider doing that on my next turn, because my Quanta is facing life at the moment, which means that I will get the life Quanta on my next turn to play my next staff regardless. And I have 1 more Adrenaline than staff in my hand, so playing my Adrenaline for raw damage efficiency is actually a logical play here. Oh no, he has a rewind. That's actually a huge problem. That actually changes my game plan a little bit. But luckily, I do have that. I can use my next turn's Adrenaline back on the staff to keep my healing going. I've only seen 1 rewind in this deck, which means that we'll just see how many rewinds he'll have. That's a very serious problem if he has a lot of them. And he has deflagrations. Okay. So need to good news is whether I hit or not, I still heal 20 per turn. Which means that there's almost no way he can hit through this much damage, but he's going to heavily deny my quant. And I could and probably should try to deflag that. I'm getting more staffs. Yeah, I can't afford to do anything else. He's used up his time quanta so far at least, which means that what I'm really waiting on is one more air quanta so I can fly one more staff. Really waiting on is yet another adrenaline. That's interesting. That fire quanta will let me deflag the fog. I need to deflag fog. He's my more important deflag target point. Don't need to keep my pillars in play as much as I need to get that fog out of the way because I'm rushing him down right now. And his ability to stop my rush is kind of limited. 2 thunderbolts take off. That's not good. And a nightmare? 2 thunderbolts and a nightmare. That was unexpected. That could actually be a really big problem for me. I'll get rid of that and hope for the best here. I can't imagine he has more than 2 thunderbolts in that deck. But he's now gone all in and trying to outrace me. Which is actually a pretty reasonable option given his current position on the board. Next turn I will get another staff in the air. Doing his damage is 15, 18, 19. He's got 19 damage per turn. He's got 3, 11 damage per turn. 12, 13. I'll have 13 damage and 5 healing. That's going to be really close, and I need Quanta badly. With 33, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Which means I'm 3 turns from lethal. He's got, right now, he's got 19. Which would also be 3 turns. I've got 13 and he's got 19, but we're both 3 turns away. That adds 6, that makes him 25, but I get to heal 5. That's not enough. 25. He needs to draw 1 extra damage this turn to beat me. Or I can play a second staff and maybe win. And get 4 extra damage out of my queen. I got 13. That would take me to 17. An extra staff isn't going to be enough. An extra queen isn't enough. Yeah, none of that's enough. I'm going to come up about 3 damage short this game, yeah. So we're going to be at 1-1 after he finishes his turn. Which is a little frustrating, but that's how it goes. Need to find a way. So this is a matchup that is not quite as favorable as I first thought, based on the amount of threats he actually does have to answer my cards. He's got the rewind also. So he's got the rewind. I'm just going to redo my search. He's got a rewind, 2 thunderbolts as direct answers to some of my flying staffs, which is what he really needs to do. So what I want to do this game is, if I have spare adrenalines, I need to play them on queens as fast as I can. If I have any extra adrenalines, and that way I can try to increase the pressure, ramp up the pressure a little bit. Playing the adrenaline on a queen will increase the damage he has to deal with. And this past game I came up just a little bit short on damage. However, that early fog is going to actually make it hard for my damage pressure to get through. And that early pulverizer, yet again, that's so painful. Now I know I drew this nymph, but I don't actually want to play it because I can't actually blow up any UGs until I get a queen on the board. And so at this point I don't really want to prioritize playing my nymph, especially if my Quana is about to get completely screwed by this pulverizer. Now I have Quana to directly play Staff from hand. And Adrenaline it. Twice, in fact. Once to play it, and a second time I would be able to play and be able to Adrenaline it. these three pen starts with not a whole lot of quanta coming afterwards are not doing me any favors. But we'll see if I can at least get something on the board. I can't even get anything on the board. That's really frustrating. I don't really want to toss any of these cards. I guess I'll have to toss a flying weapon. At this point, there's nothing else I can do. He'll be hitting me for 15 per turn, which means I need to get my healing out as soon as I can. If I draw, like, staffs on consecutive turns, I'll be okay, but I really need something like staffs or queens to come out really, really soon. Because that 15 damage is brutal. He used his time quanta, which means he's not saving for rewind. I'm just going to adrenaline this queen and hope for the best. I have the adren for 2 staffs. When I get fire quanta, I'll blow up his fog again. But I need to get some serious draws, and I need to get them fast. That 68 health that I have is lethal in 5 turns from Shrieker plus Polly. That's 13 damage. That will deny me for 1 turn. The Nightmare will deny my draw for 1 turn. It's just absolutely brutal. Is getting completely RNG'd out of this. Until I still haven't even drawn a staff. That's really, really brutal. If I can't draw a staff, I can't win this matchup. He can't kill me in 1 turn, but his damage would probably be enough to kill me even through a staff healing on the next turn, unless I'm mistaken about his damage. 32. Oh, I don't know if he can go through that completely. I won't get 2 staffs next turn, though, no matter what. Did he save his time quanta for a rewind? I hope he did not save his time quanta for a rewind. I can't afford to play my queen ability, even. He unburrows. Can I get a staff again to survive? No, I don't. I don't get the staff again. That's 16, 25. Sorry, 16, 26. That's exactly how much healing I have. It would take me to 26. That's going to be game. GG. That is a brutal way to lose a game. Went through about half of my deck and got 1 out of my 5 staffs. And he has an exact damage kill this turn. just not gotten the RNG I need. Again, at least I have a good Quanta start this time, a really, really good Quanta start this time, but I need to get staffs. If I don't get staffs, this Quanta start means absolutely nothing. I have neither staffs nor queens in this opening hand, which means I am going to lose unless I draw them. I have like 5 staffs and 3 queens in this deck, which means I should draw them, but it's just a question of whether I will. Another adrenaline. That incredible 6 air quanta on the first turn means that I do in fact get a first turn, a second turn queen if I want it, or if I draw it, but that doesn't mean I'll have enough of anything, really. A golem and a graboid, that means he didn't draw Pulvey in his opening hand. That means he'll at least get quanta, which is better than my previous games. But those are his 2 highest damage threats. He's going to try to just rush me down with whatever he draws. And that's the pulverizer. That's 19 damage per turn. That's I need a staff and I need it now. If I get a staff, I'm out healing his damage. If I don't get a staff, I'm not. And that's what this entire match is going to come down to. Or this entire game, at least. And if I lose this game, I lose the match. Second graboid means I would really love 2 of those things. I have to get my queen out to start doing something for me, but all the Firefly armies in the world won't help if I don't draw a staff. Damage per turn means that I take so much. Yeah, that's the game. That is the game this turn, so GG's. MegroN will have beaten me 3 games to 1. Congratulations to Team Earth, but unfortunately that did not go so well, and a not so great round continues for Team Air. Hopefully we've got one more match left, and hopefully we can turn that one around. We RNG'd into 3 generals this round, and just didn't have such a great round, but that's what happens, and we'll have to find a way to bounce back. Thanks for playing MegroN, and thanks to everyone who's watching this broadcast, and I'll see you next week.